New Zealand is full of grief today. That was the message from the Prime Minister as the desperate recovery effort continues at the Mount Maunganui campground. It's now been confirmed 6 people, including 2 teenagers, are among those unaccounted for, thought to be beneath the mud and debris that came down on top of holidaymakers yesterday morning. The search operation will continue overnight as emergency teams race against time and incoming bad weather. They are adamant it is still a rescue mission and hasn't yet moved into a recovery phase. Ava Whitworth reports from the scene.
On a gusty beachfront, otherwise still with shock and disbelief, the sound of Waiata travels, offering strength to those who need it most. Families of those still missing and search and rescue teams have been waiting on a different sound, one of life beneath the landslide. There was no such sound today.
Not as of today, but we live in hope, yeah.
Hopeful is a word that encompasses Mount Maunganui this evening.
There's massive hope, there's massive worry, concern, but every individual that I spoke to is handling it in slightly different ways, as you would expect. And so, you know, all we can do is make sure that we're offering the very best support to those families, and I feel very confident that we are.
24 hours on, there is growing clarity over how many people have been caught in this disaster.
Currently unaccounted for, we have 6 people that we know.
But there remains some confusion, with authorities still trying to locate a further 3 people who they believe to be international tourists who have departed the city.
We don't believe they're here, but we still got to do that inquiry.
This remains a rescue operation, not a recovery one, but every minute is precious.
We're working 24/7. You might see that the fire staff, the urban search and rescue working tirelessly, as are the contractors. They're working through last night, they're working through tonight. I think we're due for some bad weather tomorrow, so we'll have to assess it sort of hour by hour. But what I can say is we're leaving no stone unturned.
A hearse was seen arriving at the campground this morning, but officials won't confirm if any bodies have been recovered. There are 2 teenagers among the missing, the youngest 15 years old. Witnesses haunted by the faces of their family members in the minutes after disaster struck.
I have a mental picture of a gentleman being walked away by the police, by the hot pools, and he'd obviously had family caught because you could see him burying his head going, no, 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 no.
Colin McGonigal walked through the holiday park just 2 hours before the landslide and could see conditions were deteriorating at that point.
It's pretty tough when you think you're standing in a place and an hour and a half later it blows out like a bomb's hit it.
He is far from the only local who is still trying to process this tragedy.
I can't even begin to imagine the devastation of your child being buried in front of you. Those poor people, there's nothing worse than that.
Amongst the shock and sadness, heroic tales are emerging, including that of 2 builders who ran barefoot to help when the landslide hit.
They grabbed their tools out of the car and they just raced straight for the top of that toilet block and climbed up and started taking the screws out with their drills.
An eerie still has settled over the town. An extensive cordon has been set up to keep the public away. Beyond the emergency tape, there is a different atmosphere, one of urgency and intense focus as search and rescue teams work relentlessly in the hopes of reuniting families with their missing loved ones as soon as possible.
If you look overseas, there's been a matter of days where people have been rescued. This is, as you've heard from Fire, very much a rescue operation still.
The usually bustling beach town riding a wave of grief and clinging to the chance of a miracle.
For the families, I know it's a lot of love and error from people around here for them to come to our beautiful mountain and to have this. It's Whakaari White Island was another one that happened in our backyard, and I know people will always remember them. They'll never be forgotten, and I hope we can put the mount back in some way to what she is and one day get back to enjoy her.
A campground home to so many treasured summer family memories, now at the heart of a nightmare.
Well, Ava joins us now live. Ava, we understand that local iwi are proposing some drastic changes to access to the mount. What can you tell us?
Yes, Sam. So today, local iwi expressed a desire for Mount Maunganui to be closed permanently, saying that this tragedy is the Mount calling for rest. Now, obviously, this is a super popular location for both local residents and tourists, and obviously a lot of conversation would have to be had before a decision is made, but iwi are adamant that this is a turning point for the Maunga.
And Ava, can you clarify for us why those 3 international tourists that police want to find are not part of the 6 who remain unaccounted for?
Yes, so those 3 people are believed to have been at the campsite at some point. Police believe them to be international tourists who have since left the town, and they are trying to locate them, but just stressing they do not believe that they were in the landslide, but they are asking members of the public to submit photos or videos from around the site, around about the time of the slip, so that they can try locate these 3 holidaymakers.
Ava Whitworth there live for us. Thank you for that update. Well, Tauranga Mayor Mahi Drysdale joins me now live from the cordon at the campground. Kia ora, Mahi, thanks for being with us this evening. Can you tell us what the very latest is on the search operation and how everyone involved is holding up there tonight as it continues?
Yeah, good evening. Look, unfortunately, we don't have any good news to share that we've found anyone yet. The searchers are working hard and will continue overnight to keep trying to locate these people. The families doing incredibly well for a very, very hard situation. I think they're going through a range of emotions, and obviously the longer it drags on, the harder it gets.
A lot of questions around today. We've heard that there were concerns much earlier yesterday morning at around 5 a.m. about the potential for a slip at the campground. Are you aware of campers being given any sort of official warning to get out?
Look, at this stage, we are aware of some of the reports, and I think the community, the families, ourselves, we need to know these questions, and we will certainly answer them. We are commissioning an independent review to look at the lead up until we got to the slip. So that is certainly something we're going to do, but right now our focus is trying to find these unaccounted for people and supporting the families.
There were council workers on site beforehand, though, we understand, from about 8 a.m. yesterday.
Yes, we had people on site. I think at 8:56 it was made the decision to close the maunga, and that was being enacted as the slip came down.
Okay, we're hearing today too that local iwi, as we heard there from Ava, they're calling for the mount to be closed permanently. Of course, it's a big tourist attraction, locals love it. But will you and your council consider removing access entirely after this tragedy?
Look, that's a discussion for a later date. We have co-arrangements with iwi managing the maunga, and we haven't had any of those discussions with them. Certainly, it's a tonga of our region, and it's not something I think we need to continue access in some way. But we'll have those discussions at a later date.
Okay, all the best for the search mission overnight. Tauranga Mayor Mahi Drysdale there, thanks so much. Tēnā koe. Meanwhile, a child and an elderly woman are believed to be the victims of a separate landslide in the Tauranga suburb of Pāpāmoa. Their bodies were found inside a house that was extensively damaged. Tony Wall reports.
The Bay of Plenty is hurting. Hugs help to share the weight of the grief, but the sense of helplessness is overwhelming. This tragedy has hit painfully close to home for so many.
Surreal, just surreal. It's a strange feeling that I've never felt before.
Callum Poppy is the director of music at St. Peter's Anglican Church in the Mount. One of his students is missing.
No, he was supposed to come for a lesson yesterday, and I got a text message in the morning from a friend of the family saying he won't be in. They're looking for him.
Just 15 minutes from the Mount Maunganui disaster, another cordon, another landslide, and 2 lives confirmed lost. One of them, believed to be Callum's student, the boy he describes as so beautiful.
Very talented and very strong-minded, and yeah, really cool, very talkative, loved to talk.
It was just after 4 a.m. on Thursday morning when the slip was reported off Welcome Bay Road. The pair were later found inside an extensively damaged house.
In the Welcome Bay matter where we recovered 2 deceased, unfortunately, one of those persons was a Chinese national. So in that case, we're working with the relevant embassy or ambassadors.
Earlier today, the Chinese ambassador to New Zealand confirmed 2 Chinese citizens have been killed in the landslide, writing online, "Our hearts are with the impacted families at this difficult moment." According to a local resident, the child was about 10 years old and was found with an elderly lady who was related to the boy. It's thought she was his grandmother.
We're also managing the sensitivities of families, and you would appreciate that it's pretty fair that actually we do right by those families and make sure that we let them process information.
Due to ongoing instability in the area, the Regional Council has now closed Pāpāmoa Hills Cultural Heritage Regional Park to the public indefinitely. There are more than a dozen slips there that pose a risk to people.
We actually find 2 or 3 days after the heavy rains have been is where the risk of a slip takes place.
A community already at the epicentre of this week's heartache, now desperate to avoid any further pain.
The Coromandel Thames district was also hit hard by severe weather, with many coastal communities still cut off by slips. Supplies in stores were out this morning, and helicopter companies were kept busy with private charters to fly people out. Senior reporter Juliet Speedy has the story.
This major slip cutting off Whangamata from the south, one of dozens to hit the Thames Coromandel district. Around a quarter of the region's annual rainfall came down in a day.
We've got many reports from residents on the East Coast who are saying this is the heaviest rain they've experienced ever. We're talking with a gentleman in Tauranga who's been there 60 years, and he said he cannot remember a time when there was more rain than what they experienced in the 36 hours on Tuesday and Wednesday.
The major issue now is access, with hundreds of people in different spots still cut off, and some expected to take days to clear.
The priority ends up being for us is access. We have so many communities that at the moment that are cut off that we have to get them open, get the roads open, and that's primarily at this stage relates to slips.
25 roads across the region were closed, 9 of them reopened today. At least 60 properties have been impacted by slips, with some expected to be red stickered.
In here, it was knee deep, and these are all the bedrooms, right over the beds, up to the beds, in the beds, everything, just anything that was everything. Things were just floating around, big pots were just floating around.
Whangamata remains cut off, with some people paying for helicopters to get out. Many supplies were running low in town today, with no way in.
If you were diabetic and you ran out of insulin, then that's a problem. You don't want to run out of that. I've had already one this morning where neither of us pharmacies have it.
And this usually busy main street completely dead, with travellers and day trippers caught short.
Yeah, people come here and they're stranded, so they really don't have much. I think they were just expecting a fun day out, but then it turned quite bad. So people have come in, got in underwear, pants, jumpers, whatever they can, because they really are just sleeping on the side of the roads. But lucky enough, we've had very welcoming people and we've invited them into our homes, but it is really hard for people who've just come over for the weekend and they have nothing.
But other businesses losing tens of thousands of dollars in revenue on what would usually be one of their busiest weekends. The Prime Minister surveyed the area by air this morning.
So this is the challenge, right? And the eastern coast got smashed.
Yeah. Primarily from Coromandel through on the eastern seaboard.
In Coromandel, each region's got a slightly different set of challenges. Theirs is actually a ring road and a road resilience, and as you say, isolated local communities.
The Mayor said he pressed Luxon on the need for more roading resilience.
We are just very dependent on our roading network, and we need to build resilience into it. And we hope that the Prime Minister understood, and I'm very confident he did, understood our situation.
Ahead of Auckland Anniversary weekend, people are being advised to avoid travelling to the impacted areas.
Well, our message really is, unless you need to travel, please stay where you are, unless you're trying to get off the peninsula, and we understand, people do need to do that.
The soaked region is now rallying together and all hoping no more heavy rain is on the way.